Welcome everybody to the Boxing Podcast, broadcasting to you live from the true north. This is indeed your good friend Mr. BDA, and I sure am glad, as always, that you guys could be on board for this one, fellas. In this one, we got a fantastic one for you, because we're going to be previewing some of the fights that are going to be taking place this Saturday. That's right, fights. It's a lot going on this Saturday, and there's been a lot going on since Saturday, this past Saturday. A lot of drama on the YouTube, on the Twitter, the boxing side of things, so we're going to get into that as well. Before we get down to the fun, fellas, let's get the business out of the way. You know the drill. If you want to donate a couple of shekels our way, a couple of shekels, just a couple, you're certainly welcome to do so with the Super Chat feature. Although it's always better if you join the membership program. That way you get more bang for your buck. But the most important thing is you continue to like, subscribe, and you spread that BDA gospel. You do it nice and well, all right? Be very thorough by spreading that. Don't forget you can check us out on Spotify, iTunes, and Spreaker at your leisure. At your leisure, all right? Let's give a big shout out to everybody in the chat. And by the way, I'm going to be reminding, as always, and we're never going to stop, keep reminding people to hit that like, all right? Let's get to the chat here. I see we got It's 18th Street 2.0, Night Murph, Windy City, Double G, not Triple G, Double G, Handsome Mechanic, Amok. Who else we got here? Rapax Rock and Company says 10-4, shout out to him. Cloudy Boxing, Knockout Ned, Abel, very biblical name, Double L, so we got Double L, Double G, we got Jacques Cousteau, Mars, Alfredo Contreras, Warp Speed in the house, shout out to Warp Speed, Mr. Boxing, Windy City, OG Blaze in the house, shout out to OG Blaze, and many more people to come, I'm sure. Fellas, thank you for joining us, really appreciate you dropping by for this one. All right, we have got ourselves a very good fight this Saturday. And it's from, well, actually, I don't even know where they're fighting. It's in San Antonio, I believe. Let me just double check here for you. We're talking about Jesse Bam Rodriguez versus Sonny Edwards, and it's not for the 112-pound, ring title, which that garnered a little bit of controversy a couple of weeks ago. But that is because Jesse Bam Rodriguez was campaigning at Superfly, and he just recently went back down to flyweight, so he's rated number 4, I believe. We're going to double check that, but they're going to be fighting from Glendale, Arizona via the Zone. It's not pay-per-view, by the way, but it's a pay-per-view worthy type quality matchup in terms of the quality of the fighters. You also got MJ Akhmadaliev taking on Kevin Gonzalez. Watch out for that one, by the way, because Kevin Gonzalez, like Marlon Tapales, who upset MJ a couple of months ago, is an explosive southpaw, very aggressive. So we could be seeing MJ succumbing to 2 losses this year. Then we got Galalia Fai taking on Rocco Santomaro. Rocco Santomaro, that is a porn name right there. That is a porn star name. When I was booking talent back in the industry days, that's a name that I would have given somebody. But hey, that's not all, fellas. We've got Zandor Martin on ESPN Plus. I think they're fighting, Italy. Torino, Italy. Italia. And you know what? The day before that, you got Jake Paul taking on Andre August. I got no clue who that guy is. And maybe I'll catch it. And then on top of that, that same day, or Saturday rather, we got 3 cards on Saturday, and we got David Morrell taking on Sena Agbeko. Now, you look at Agbeko's record and you think, there's not much going on there, but this is a guy that pulled off an upset this year, I believe, on Showbox against an undefeated guy. And then on top of that, he's had plenty of sparring at the TMT gym. So he's been in there with quality fighters, maybe not in actual fights, but at least in sparring. So it should be an interesting one. Again, remember, a lot of people are high on David Morrell Jr. And so it's going to show us whether he can take the fight to Agbeko and maybe try to take Agbeko out. I think Agbeko only has 1 loss against Shishishkin, I think, or something. That's his name, some Eastern European guy. Some people call him Shitskin. I don't know what that means, but I guess it rhymes. But yeah, man, these are the fights that we've got. And fellas, they are fantastic. I got to tell you, I'm very excited for these fights. Didn't have time to compile the clips that I wanted to or organize them into sequences. Jab, right hand, and all that for you. Because I know some people aren't familiar with Sonny Edwards and Bam Rodriguez. So what I did was I created a highlight package of their main fights. But again, I was unable to categorize things into jab, right hand, foot speed, weaknesses. So we're just going to do a cursory look at some of the highlight clips that I made weeks ago. And I'll try to point out some things for that. I don't know if anybody wants to jump on, by the way. I know for a fact Gonzalo's been itching to talk about this fight, so I'm gonna invite him. But if anybody else wants to jump on, let me know. Let me know on the Discord, and I'll let you come in here. Now, I just want to give you guys too an idea of who each guy is. So, if we look at the Ring Magazine rankings here for the flyweight division, you will indeed conclude that it is a division that's not well known, of course, by a lot of people. But anyway, you got Sonny Edwards undefeated, 20-0 with 4 big knockouts. And then you've got JC Rodriguez, number 4, 18-0 with 11 knockouts. Now, some people are saying, why is this fight so significant, BDA, if one guy's 1 and the other guy's 4? Because for a lot of people, JC Rodriguez could have easily gotten to the number 2 position. It's just that he decided to move up to 115 pounds. That's where he beat, what's his name? Sizraket Sorongvisai, a.k.a. Wikexil Wangek, the man who eats rats and trash for a living. It fuels him. And that was a very good win from JC Rodriguez, who had a standout year in 2022. This year, he only had 1 fight. He got his jaw fractured. But I'm going to tell you why there's some good, some bad in that performance and some good, and same thing with Sonny Edwards. Fellas, I'm going to tell you straight off the bat, I am undecided about who I am picking in this fantastic matchup. I see we got Gonzalo here. Gonzalo, I'm sharing my screen here because I want to share some video with you about some of the things that I want to point out. And if you see anything that you want to point out as well, excuse me, let me know.
Hey, all right, sure.
How you feeling? Did you just, I know it's 7 a.m. there in the Philippines. Did you just wake up? Had you coffee yet?
Yeah, I just finished drinking some coffee. I'm shaking out the cobwebs.
Fantastic. Hey, hopefully we get people trying to shake off some cobwebs this Saturday, man, because I want to see some people getting hurt. That's what I want to see. I want to see high-octane, high-paced action. All right, let me show you one thing first here. I never finished doing this, so hold on a second. We got a super chat here. Oh, yeah, we will be opening up the phone lines later on near the end of the hour, or maybe a little bit past, like 15, a quarter past 8. Shout out to Amak PVP for his contribution with the super chat. He says, what's he saying here? He says, I got Bam beating Sonny, the boxing hobby Edward. All right, let me start writing down predictions here. Amok says he's got Bam beating Sonny Edwards. Gonzalo, before you give me your prediction, let's give it a little suspense and save it for the end of the episode. But is this a fight that's too close to call for you, or do you have a definite winner in mind already?
So, what's his name? Freaking Bam Rodriguez. He was fighting at 115, but he's going down. And he's a young man, so basically he can pretty much come in at the weight that he was fighting at 115. But against a smaller fighter. So he's basically just going to drop 3 pounds. Okay. Will that deplete him? I don't think so. So he's used to fighting bigger guys that hit much harder. He's dropped Carlos Cuadras before. He stopped Sorongvisai. I don't know how many knockouts he's got. Maybe 14 knockouts out of 20 fights.
11.
So he's pretty hard when he throws punches. He throws to punch through the target. He might not be a one-punch type of knockout kind of power, but at least when he throws, he wants to pierce. He wants to punch through the target. So I'd say Sonny Edwards, he don't got no power with 4 knockouts and 20 fights, and he's been dropped. He's been dropped before. So, I mean, can he take a punch? Probably. If it goes a distance, I mean, they can both box. I'm just going to have to give it to the guy that hits harder because he's going to land the better shots that if you're a judge, you want to give him credit for those, the significant blows.
I mean, you know, one thing that I've yet to verify here is that if you look at their BoxRec, I'm not looking at BoxRec right now, I'm looking at champignon.info, because fucking BoxRec, they ask you to sign up after you look at 3 or 4 profiles. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to give you my data. I mean, you can look at what I'm doing. Yeah, I'm upfront about the shit I do on the internet, but I don't want, fucking to give it to too many people. But the point is, apparently, supposedly, JC Bam Rodriguez has a substantial reach advantage. We're talking about 5-6 inch advantage, which seems bizarre to me. It doesn't really quite look like that. In fact, if you look at the footage of both guys, it looks as if Sonny Edwards actually has the longer arms. But I don't know. Listen, this is a blue state, red state type of fight. Classic. We already know what's going to happen. We already know what each guy has to do to be successful. Sonny Edwards is going to be looking to counter. He's going to be off the back foot. He's going to want Bam Rodriguez to throw first. Bam Rodriguez is going to be incumbent upon himself to move forward, cut that ring off, shoot some throwaway shots, keep Edwards in place, because as you're going to see, we're going to show you some clips here, this guy is a rabbit in there. He is an absolute rabbit. He will not stop moving. Well, actually, that's an exaggeration, but for the most part, 90% of the fight, he will spend it moving around, pivoting, throwing 50 fast combos. So I got to tell you, it's going to be an interesting one. If you look at their significant wins, by the way, we go to Sonny Edwards, and he has a win over, where is it? Yeah, Moruti Mathelane. I've never really learned how to pronounce it. Moruti Mathelane. Now, Mathelane, you might remember, is a guy that lost to Nonito Donaire about 10 years ago. And I believe he was stopped because of a cut, or I think he went to a technical decision. I forget. Well, actually, I can look it up here. But that was prime Donaire, by the way. And this guy never got wobbled, never got dropped. At least I don't remember him. Maybe I'm way off. But he was trying to walk Donaire down. Donaire was just too quick for him. Oh, yeah, it's an official TKO. But he was stopped on a cut, and he wasn't getting beat up or anything. And then, from then on, after the Donaire fight, you will see here, he beat Zolani Tete by knockout. He beat Casimero by knockout. And he went on a close to a 10-year winning streak before running into Sonny Edwards. By the time he was about 40 now, and he got outboxed. It was just a horrible style matchup for Mathelane. But that's one of Sonny Edwards' best wins. Alvarado is a guy that's a big puncher, and Sonny Edwards took his bullets, fired his own, and walked away with a unanimous decision. Conversely, you look at Jesse Bam Rodriguez. His big wins all started off by fighting Carlos Cuadras at Superfly, going in there as a late replacement. Bam did. Stepped up to the plate, dropped Cuadras, beat him by unanimous decision. Then he beat Wangek by stoppage. Then he beat the always tough Israel Gonzalez by decision. And then he beat a tougher than expected Christian Chicharito Hernandez. And that's a fight that I think I think that win is going to age well, because El Chicharito is a complicated fighter himself. So without further ado, let's get started here. Hold on a second. It's going to take us to another room here, Gonzalo. All right, sorry about that, fellas. Because when you invite more than 3 people, Jimmy, are you there? We're on the air.
Yes, sir.
We're on the air. All right. I'm sharing the screen here, so it is important that we watch some of these clips, because a lot of people don't know who Edwards and Bam Rodriguez are. So we're just going to be, well, I'm actually, depending on how it goes, pointing some very interesting parts here. Now, this is interesting. This is what I want to point out about Rodriguez. And this is a big red flag from the get-go that he has to avoid. This was when he fought Chicharito Gonzalez, who, by the way, is very similar style to Sonny Edwards. This was a great fight to prepare for Sonny Edwards, because this guy was pivoting, punching nonstop, lungs of steel, lungs of iron, actually, and great preparation. That's why, even though Rodriguez struggled and didn't look as dominant as he usually does, it was nevertheless good. But here's one thing I didn't like. See how he tends to squat and dip down and duck under shots? Like right there. See that? I don't know what it is about him, but he does nothing from that position. It's almost like he gets anchored. And when you're fighting a fleet-footed guy like Chicharito and Sonny Edwards this Saturday, see that? It allows the guy to keep him turning. This was a very good performance from Chicharito, who didn't really have any big wins on his record, but nevertheless managed to make Bam look ordinary. See that? He kept him turning for the most part. Now, I haven't shown you yet the success that Bam had, but you can see there how he gets stuck. Let me rewind that. This shit's only going to rewind for 10 seconds, but See, he gets stuck when he gets hit, like right there. And it's the same dynamic. See here, he's leaning back, but he's not. There's no position to counter. Now that is because if you notice, Chicharito's doing a smart thing. He's keeping him at the end of the shots. Very good control of the distance. Then as soon as he punches, he moves away. He's not really punching to knock Bam Rodriguez out. It's just to stun him and keep shit moving, keep the train moving. Similar to the Haney Prograis, where Prograis will get stuck every time the Haney would stick that jab in his face. See that? Like right there, there's nothing he can do from that position. He's squatting way too much too on top of that. And it allows Gonzalez to just turn him. Anyway, I think you guys get the point here, but what do you guys think? Can any of you pinpoint better? Because I still don't know quite how to explain it. What's he doing wrong doing that? And well, here you see Sonny Edwards, how quick he is too. So can any of you guys maybe break it down looking at this footage here?
I can tell you that it looks like what I didn't like about that fight, he seemed to be walking in straight. Like, see right there?
Mm-hmm.
Like he's kind of just walking in straight. He's not kind of coming in at an angle. He's just kind of following him back into the ropes. But now, I don't remember this kid. Did he have punching power? The kid he was facing, was he a knockout puncher?
I mean, let me check the record. But you could tell there was some velocity in his shots. But in terms of his record, let me check. He had 15 wins. No, 15 wins, 5 knockouts.
Yeah, so I think it was just a case of he was willing to take shots, putting himself in a position to take shots, I would imagine, because he's better than that. I mean, just look at the way when he fought those bigger guys, the older two guys he fought when he came up in weight.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't leave himself. He wasn't standing there to take shots because he respected their power. It might be just a case of he doesn't really respect his power, and I'll put myself in position to eat some to give one. Sort of like even Matisse at 140, he's good for that. He'll eat 2 because he knows if he lands 1 on you, it could change the fight. So
yeah.
I don't know if that's the case. It's still just not something you want to get used, get into, do it too often. But a lot of guys do that. They don't respect the power. They keep the guard up, and they'll eat something off the forehead. And I've sparred guys back in the day that I didn't care if they punch me in my forehead with their jab and stuff because there's nothing on it.
You know what?
It's the crosses and the hooks that bother you.
Julio Cesar Chavez kind of used to do the same thing that Rodriguez is doing, right? But he would actually slip by a little bit. That's all you need to just slip by a little bit. Then you're able to land your counters. But maybe he's trying to do the same thing there, but he's not slipping anything. He's just getting tagged.
And Julio Cesar Chavez was famous for dicking his head down at the last second, having punch him in the top of the head and break your hand. But
that's smart.
He had no problem taking punches.
Yeah, because the trick here is going to be because I'm going to show you clips right now from Sonny Edwards. You will see that's his whole game. He wants you to react to his speed, so he freezes you, and then he can keep moving. And like you guys were talking about, Julio Cesar Chavez putting the head down. The trick here is to parry his shots and keep moving forward. But again, against Chicharito, we didn't see Bam do that. And you can see here, this is against Wasim, the Mad Bomber. And Sonny Edwards, see, that's Sonny Edwards has I'm going to pinpoint a move that he does very often. Let me fast forward here a little bit. See how he punches, and then as he's punching, he's moving around his opponent. Excellent angles. That's why he doesn't score knockouts, because he's jumping up in the air as he's punching. But that right there, let me rewind it. He will, similar to Terence Crawford, he will throw a big wallop and then pivot at the same time.
Yeah.
Let's see, was it here?
Yeah, and he's got a sneaky right hand too, kind of like Crawford, where it's the timing. It's not coming right when you think it is.
Mm-hmm.
He's in and out. All of a sudden, the right hand is coming not exactly when you would think you would anticipate it.
Exactly. He's smart when it comes to his offense. Obviously, no power. I mean, no power as in he's not gonna stun you or drop you, but he gets his opponent's attention, and they get shocked by the speed. And the thing is, it's perpetual movement. See how he's always moving? So he'll throw a 1-2, step to the side, step around. Then here he's circling. And even when he gets there, there's one thing that I have noticed about Sonny Edwards, though, in most of his fights. He will start out quickly. His opponents can get a grip on him, a read on him. But then by the 5th or 6th round, he has to spend a little more time on the ropes because this type of movement is very, very hard to maintain. So I think it is imperative upon Bam Rodriguez to work the body early. Don't go out there head hunting. And in other words, if you're going to go big downstairs. Take away Sonny Edwards' second wind so that when he does, it's past the 6 or 7. If he goes that far, he's not going to have that second wind. But see here, we're about the 3rd round. He's spending some time on the ropes. And you will notice too that he's pretty good at rolling with the shot. See that? On the ropes. He puts his hands up at the opportune time. See that? Rolling with the shots. And then he can counter too. Very well. So this is a smart cookie here. Bam Rodriguez is going to be up against a guy who's playing with a full deck of cards. See those little side steps? And then see that? I mean, let's look at that sequence again. Hold on a second. It's this one. So right hook. No, here. 1-2. Side step. Blocks the hook. And then he counters with a left hook and pivots away. And he just shoves Wasim to the side. And he won that sequence. I mean, this guy does this all 12 rounds. And you can see here.
Yeah, he was also getting picked up by that. Last time he fought Andres Campos, he was tagging him up. I don't know if that's him.
No, this is Wasim. This is a fight in Saudi Arabia.
Okay. All right.
Well, let me fast forward.
Going back to the whole bending of the knees and kind of squaring up, and when you say he's getting stuck in mud, I brought up Julio Cesar Chavez, how he's able to miss his opponents by a little bit. I mean, you probably would want to. This is just my opinion. Or you probably be better at doing that if you were like a little bit shorter than your opponent, right? But if you're like the taller guy, dipping down at the knees is going to get you a little bit extra tired because you're going to be dipping a little bit more to get underneath the guy that's your same height or actually like taller when actually like shorter when you're the taller man. So I don't know who's taller here in between Sonny Edwards and Bam Rodriguez. Yeah, but I wouldn't be doing that if I'm the taller guy because you would have to actually make more of a concerted effort to get underneath.
I mean,
where you can like dip the punch.
To answer your question, I believe. Well, actually, I have to double check here. I don't want to speak out of school. If you look at the statistics here, it says that Jesse Bam Rodriguez is 5 feet 4 inches tall. Yeah, and Sonny.
I was going to say Bam's taller by an inch and a half or so.
I think we got a little bit.
So you know, Jimmy, that when they say bend your knees in boxing, it's got to be like a natural bend. Where you're carrying that little bend, it's not something that it's gonna get you like all that tired because you're trying to like do it without it being like a natural thing, right? So why would you want to bend extra low against a shorter dude if it's not just like the natural bend?
The lower you bend too, coming back up, that's a big burn. That's a natural squat. It takes a lot of energy to do it. You want to have a natural bend in your knees. It's like trying to hit a baseball, doing anything athletic. You're going to always have a slight bend in your knees because you're using your legs to spring no matter what you're doing, whether it's throwing a punch or jumping to side. You want a little bit of a bend. But I couldn't tell by just watching what he was doing there. He's not going to be able to hold Bam Rodriguez off. See, now he's going down, right? If I'm not mistaken, Bam's going down in weight for this, right? Isn't he? Or this isn't where he's normally campaigning at, is he?
Well, okay, just to go over the story. Remember, he went up against Quadras in 2022 at the last minute to save the show. And then he had 2 more fights there. And then he moved down. And that fight that I showed you against Chicharito, where he kept squatting down, that was his comeback fight at flyweight, 112. So for all intents and purposes, he really is a junior flyweight. I mean, a flyweight, not a junior flyweight.
I think he was looking small. Maybe that's why he wasn't knocking those dudes out when he went up. I don't know if he knocked out El Chicharito Hernandez,
No,
but
no. But I tell you
yeah,
what,
very
though,
pretty strong
it's
dude.
the amount of pressure he put on Chicharito. That's why I'm saying I don't think that performance against Chicharito was that bad. I mean, of course, he showed some weaknesses there, but I think that's due to Chicharito's quality because that's the other thing. Chicharito was coming in there with one loss, but the guy that beat him is still undefeated. He's another fellow Mexican. So, I think he's a very good fighter. He showed iron lungs. I mean, you can't fucking fake that. The guy kept moving for all 12 rounds. And Bam Rodriguez, to his credit, never ceased pressuring, even despite the fractured jaw that he incurred. Now, I do want to say one thing here about Bam Rodriguez, and that is that he needs to jab because, I mean, he's had some very good experience. Here's against Israel Gonzalez, who went 12 rounds against Chocolatito. And this dude took some big shots from Bam Rodriguez, some low blows too, by the way. That's one thing I don't like about Bam Rodriguez. I don't know if he's doing it intentionally or not, but man, some of those low blows, they've got to start. If I'm Sonny Edwards, I'm warning the ref, hey, watch these guys' low blows, man, because they're no joke. But, okay. So I wanted to go back to the Sonny Edwards thing. There's a pattern that, again, he starts out quickly, and then by the sixth round, he has to sort of take a bit of a break. If this was against Felix Alvarado, the fuck? Hold on a second, that's not it. This is against Felix Alvarado, brother of the other Alvarado that campaigns at juniors lightweight, I believe. This guy's a killer with the punching power. Not a lot of technique, but big puncher, and he went right at Sonny Edwards. If it wasn't for Sonny Edwards' conditioning, his footwork, I don't know if he makes it out of this fight, and makes it a distance rather. But this was vintage Sonny Edwards. Again, always moving. You can see there very good defense, catching the guy clean, just frustrated. I mean, look, I'm not gonna say this guy is Willie Pep, but he reminds me of Willie Pep, is what I'm saying. Just a constant moving, dipping. Every time he does something, he moves afterwards. Whether he punches, he weaves, it's just, or slips, it's just nonstop movement. It's got to be very frustrating to fight a guy like that. Now, but okay, you know what? I mentioned that that if I'm Sonny Edwards, I warned the referee about Bam Rodriguez's low blows. If I'm Bam Rodriguez, I warned the referee about the clinching. Because this Sonny, look at that, he would clinch a lot, quite often in this fight. And I'm thinking, what would happen if the ref prevented him from clinching? As all refs rightfully should. It would be a completely different fight. So those are two things that each guy has to watch out for. So as you can see here, Sonny Edwards, just look at that, nonstop moving, punching, turning, punching, clinching. There he ate a good left hook, but he blocked a lot of the shots. I want to fast forward here and show you what I'm talking about. By the sixth round, I believe. See, he starts getting stuck a little bit more on the ropes as he's getting tired.
And
yeah,
when he's moving laterally, then you're not in position to strike back. He's got a sneaky right hand. He throws punches like on the move like that, where it's already difficult to catch up to your opponent. But what he's doing, he understands that, and he's basically getting that angle. He knows that, and bam, he just snaps your head.
Yeah, man. But here you can see like Alvarado finally got him on the ropes, and this is where Bam would have to work. And see, but Alvarado's doing a mistake. That left hook, he's not mixing it up. He's just throwing the left hook, and it's not even a shovel hook, so it's not getting under the elbow. And Sonny was reading, Sonny Edwards rather, not Sonny. Edwards was reading those punches. See how he blocks them and rolls with the shots, and it's a very smart guy, Sonny Edwards.
Yeah.
Now I wanna say something though, because you mentioned that Gonzalo, when he fought this Chilean guy Campos, this was his last fight, and I was surprised watching the fight at how, I think it was Tony Bellew, I think he was one of the commentators. He had the fight very close, and you can tell this dude here, Campos from Chile, physically kind of looks like Bam Rodriguez, except he's shorter. and doesn't hit as hard as Bam Rodriguez. And he gave Sonny Edwards the business. At first, Sonny Edwards was sort of just thinking, hey, I'm going to control this guy. He's not on my level. But then again, the 6-7 run came along and he started spending time on the ropes and this guy would take advantage of it. But you can see here that, again, everything that makes Sonny Edwards a successful fighter is on display here. The sharp punching, the non-stop angles, the footwork, the stamina, but then again, the clinching as well. Jimmy, how would you approach fighting a guy like this? Like if you're Bam Rodriguez and you already know what Edwards is gonna do. He's not gonna reinvent the wheel in this one. He's just gonna do this, move, punch and move. What are some key things that you would try to do against a guy like this?
Well, you already said it first off. I mean, there's always certain go-tos, but the number one thing is you're gonna move or go to the body. You want to take his legs out as fast as possible. The more you work that body, the heavier the legs will go. You'll slow him down. And if he slows down naturally by, like you were saying, the 5th or 6th round, Bam's got a sick body punch. But yeah, I'd hit him in the body. And if he was a big-time mover and I was on the right side of the ref on the left, those punches, not on the nuts, but right on the hip bone, on the thigh, a couple of hip, flexes. Those really hard to shake off. You start getting hip flexes, that can they're not legal, but if the ref doesn't see it. But yeah, I would and you get him. I would work with my guy to punch where he's going, not where he's standing, because you never move or you punch where first you got to get his timing, his rhythm. You start seeing most guys fall in the same trap. He'll do the same thing. Most guys tend to move out the same way, and you start getting the punch to where he's gonna be. You punch between him, just beat him to his punches. But I see, and again with Edwards, you see a lot of it's arm punches.
Mm-hmm.
So you don't want your guy to get. A lot of guys get head hunting happy because it's like, this guy can't hurt me. I'm going to knock him out. Especially Bam's got a little punch. He's got some zip on his punches. The problem is I don't know how much it's affecting him. See, getting down to 112, that's got to be tough on him. I know he's a little guy at 5'4.5", but that's still light. You just don't know how he's feeling on that night of the fight. You can make the weight, but you're losing power punching. You're losing power. How much power are you losing? That's the question. Is it getting to the point where it's really not feasible for him to be even staying at 112 anymore? I don't know.
Well, again, he moved out
that's
because
always the thing.
He moved up because he wanted to, not because he had to. Apparently, I mean,
Exactly.
I don't know.
But you saw the power he had at 115. He was rocking those guys.
I mean, he not for nothing, but the guys he hurt were older. When he fought a guy who wasn't that old,
I just saw. If you rewind it, just rewind it for a second there. That was slick by Edwards. Can you rewind it 10 seconds?
Yeah.
A little bit more.
A little bit more, or
when you're in the center. Yeah, more when you're in the center of the ring.
Okay. I'm using a different player here, and I can't rewind the.
No, I understand.
Specifically as I would like.
Right here. Watch him on the hip. Watch him hit the hip. Ready? Ready? Oh, there's one. Yeah, there's a clip where he punches the dude right on the hip bone, right on the side of the hip when he sees the ref off to his left. Now, it was Clay was good. I was like, wow, nice. It was right below the belt on the dude's hip.
Yeah. Well, he's getting worked in this one. See again, 6th round. He tends to, and I think he underestimated. He underestimated this Campos guy a little bit because Edwards will fight off the ropes. He's good at fighting off the ropes, but in this one he seemed a little more uncomfortable than I'd seen him before, because this little Campos guy had short arms and it was tagging him, and you could tell Edwards was like, holy shit, this guy's actually throwing me off for a loop with his shots, and the clinching.
But see, he's not spinning even that kick. He's not spinning his hips into it. He's throwing all on punches too.
You talk about
that's the problem. They're not like really even Campos, the guy he's fighting, he's like,
right.
There's no movement in the hips, just all upper body. That's why they're not really hurting each other. They're just scoring punches, but nobody's really turning over in their punches.
Yeah, that's true. This Bam guy, Campos didn't have many knockouts either on his record.
Yeah.
Maybe that's why Edwards was a little surprised. Like, holy shit, this guy, okay, he can hit hard, but he's hitting me clean or cleaner than I would have expected. Interesting. Somebody said in the chat, because I asked the question, how would you fight a guy who moves on stop? He said, hit him in the balls. So we certainly don't advocate that, but I mean, in theory, that would work. What else was I going to say about this fight? So, okay, so I'm going to really now look at, we've seen some clips here from Sonny Edwards. Let's go to Rodriguez's last fight against Gonzalez, which is, again, very good preparation for a guy.
Turnbuckle to the other turnbuckle, right, to your height, and then you get into a squat, and you duck under the rope, push up with your shoulder, duck under the rope, push up with your other shoulder. You walk all the way, and you back up doing it, back and forth, and that sucks. But guys who dominate at that, you see them get fast at it, and then they'll start doubling up, coming under, with the. And it's crazy. It's like the same guys who can hit the speed bag, like it almost make like a song out of it. They're great at it. This guy, you see him ducking those ropes at speeds, and they never take their head off the fucking angle. That's just repetitive training. And you can tell that's when Garcia gets all excited when he talks about Bam. He's like, this kid loves to train. That's what he means. It's not who's hitting a mitt, because that's what we think of, the punching. He's no, it's the shit like that. When you get a guy who can that, so you can tell Bam. I bet you if you could ever get actual whole training videos, seeing him doing that rope training, I bet you he's fast as fuck on it. Because I never see him drop his head. See, I notice I'm going on about this one tactic, but I'm telling you guys, that's you see a fighter do that in there. Just watch going forward when you see a guy go down. A lot of times his head's going to follow the floor. Their face is looking down at their shoes. Watch when Bam goes down. Head never fucking stays off the plane. That's just well-trained, man. The kid's a well-trained kid.
And I think I even seen some fighters do that with two ropes, two big. I think a lot of them use like hand wraps. So you run one diagonal, you run one horizontally, then the other vertically. So you basically make a cross. Not only are you dipping from one to the other, yeah, you start changing the angles on the intersection of the cross that you made.
Yeah, keep going. Explain it to, because you give it good angles too, man.
Yeah, that's basically it.
No, but
you make an X or a cross, I mean.
And again, that's I just want people to know. So when I say I'm trying to when I study a film, that's what I look at. I look at things like that, the way they're holding their feet together, the way they're moving, are they dragging a foot, just all type of things that you see in there. You just know this kid's well schooled.
Well, I gotta tell you, man,
his hand up when he's throwing his other punch. Yes,
you guys brought up some excellent points, and you've convinced me to take Bam. I just wrote BDA, nice. Bam. I'm not saying knockout decision, but I do think he's gonna edge it, and I do think this is one of those scenarios where punching power or a lack thereof will play a factor in it. So far, in terms of predictions, we've got Gonzalez saying Bam by stoppage. Mr. BDA says I say Bam. Jimmy says 7-5 Bam. Amok said Bam beats Edwards.
No. Oh yeah, shit! I gotta change that. Did I say 7-5? I thought I was going to say, but I want to change that too.
To what?
No, I just want to be more, because I think 8-4. I don't think he's going to give up more than 4 rounds. But I also want to say this: I think there's going to be times that it's going to look like this kid's running for safety. I think he's going to have him hurt, and it's going to be like I'm going to say a douchebag thing. Kettleman, the story of the fight.
No, come on, man.
But I think it's gonna, you know what I mean, dude? But I think it's gonna be the end, which guy would you want to be? And you're gonna be like, oh yeah, you can tell who took the beating. I think he's gonna put it on him. I think it's gonna show, it's gonna be more of Edwards' heart of not getting knocked out. Because I think he could maybe withstand it, because I've seen him take big shots, but then again, fuck, Bam, this, everybody's telling Bam this is his most hardest test, so. And if he likes to train that much, I think he's going to be focused. So yeah, I'll stick with the unanimous decision, but I think at the end it's going to be fucking, that kid Edwards is going to be fucking hoping that 12th final bell comes quick.
Hey Jimmy, what's right is right. You understand what I'm talking about?
Yes. What's right is right, man. Get the fuck off my car.
Jimmy.
All right, well, that's Jimmy changing his prediction to 8-4 Bam. and again, you guys sort of convinced me here too, man, because I was edging it towards Edwards, but now that I started rewatching, because again, these video clips, I never categorized them, and I stopped watching them about 2-3 weeks ago, so they were kind of stale in my mind. But now that I watched them fresh eyes and with other people chiming in, I've come to the conclusion based on what I'm seeing that, yeah, indeed, I'm going to give it the edge to Bam Rodriguez, but I would not be surprised if, again, this is all dependent on how Bam fights too, man. If he's starts swinging from the get-go or trying to go upstairs too much, that he could fall into a typhoon or a what do they call it in English? Whirlpool. Or he just gets stuck and you can't get out anymore. He has to avoid that. He has to stay on the periphery of that whirlpool, and he does that by jabbing, keeping the punches quick but not too powerful early on. And if he is going to go with power to the body. Amok said Bam beats Edwards.
Oh, absolutely.
And Jason Green says Bam by late or mid TKO/KO. So we'll continue taking predictions as we go along. We're going to be opening up the phone lines too. We spent about an hour and a half talking about this fight. Jeez Louise. So we're going to open up the phone.
Yes, good fight. Good matchup.
So, I mean, I've been expecting this one for a while, man. I've been looking forward to it. So now that it's finally here, and there's, like I said,
no, I know. This is for months you've been saying this is the fight you've been looking forward to.
Well, that and like Haney Prograis, I was looking forward to that one, even though I tell you what, I was way more confident about how that fight was going to go than this one.
This is much more interesting.
Yeah, and Tapalis Inoue. Woohoo. The nice surprise of the year, though, is that heavyweight card. Obviously, neither matchup is A level, but just the sheer quantity of the fights they've got on was a nice surprise to end the year as well. But yeah, we're going to continue.
You know what's funny, Mr. BDA? Real quick, I went to get on Twitter today, and like I was going to tweet something, and then fucking, of course, I go and you see your feed or whatever's there, and the first thing right away was Inoue's about to knock out, or about to become a fucking unified division, knocking out a nobody. And then I just flipped it like one, took my thumb, and it stops. The next one stops. Another person saying almost the same thing, but yeah, fuck. Of course, it's, when you fight nobodies, I just threw my phone. I didn't tweet nothing. It just they don't stop. They just fucking don't. It's crazy. The people who don't credit this guy don't give him no credit.
Well, I mean, it's if you look at the track record of these guys, we were talking about track records. I don't usually focus too much on it. If, for example, if somebody tells me Inoue is trash, I'll hear them out and hear out their arguments about why they think the guy's overrated. But then I've done that before, and you start looking at the fact that they actually think Tank Davis has a better profile in dossier. That's when you go, okay, they really don't know what they're talking about. And then you look at that's when you look at the track record on Twitter, and you go, oh. This guy is one of the same people that said Crawford was afraid of Spence. He's one of the same people that picked Spence by stoppage and domination. And you go even way back, you see that they picked Wilder to basically dominate and shell like Tyson Fury, and that he was going to do the same thing to Joshua. Same people that picked Fulton to outbox Inoue because it was the first Afro. Yep. So you start noticing that these guys. Yeah, Thunderdome made a good point a long time ago. He said, a lot of these guys, they don't even watch the whole fights. They'll just scroll through Twitter while they're playing NFL 2K. They'll watch a couple of clips here and there on Twitter, the highlights, and then they go back to playing video games. They're not actually watching down the fights and seeing, okay, what does each guy repeat? What's his go-to move? What are his skills? What are his attributes? They just look at the highlights, the box rec, and that's where they conclude things based off of it. So, I mean, listen, don't think too much about it. With those people there.
Such a good point. That was an excellent breakdown. It really was.
I know it was excellent. You don't have to tell me. But the point is that we're going to be opening up the phone lines here. So I got to go to the latrines here real quick. So I'll let you guys, we're going to switch because we've talked already for an hour and a half about Sonny Edwards and Bam Rodriguez. I want to leave you guys with this little subject here. Demetrius Andrade has come out, or his trainer, I think, actually, Andre Rozier, one of his trainers said, they're moving back down to 160. They found out that they say that 168 is not their cup of tea. We want to take Lara's belt and then unify, I guess, Janibek to become undisputed. That will solidify Boo Boo's career as a Hall of Famer, Rozier said. Guys, what do you make of those comments? And I'll be right back.
I'm sorry. Oh, I was saying I had a hard time hearing him. It was breaking up on me the whole time, so I'll listen to you talk.
Oh, he's basically saying that he's moving back down to 160 pounds because 168 was not their cup of tea. They think they will do a lot better there, so they're looking to unify versus Janibek, and he mentioned somebody else, and that would pretty much solidify Bubu Andrade as a Hall of Famer.
Is
The
that what
problem is
they
with that.
said?
Yeah, but the problem why are you waiting to do it now when you're 35 going on 36? You could have done that a long time ago.
I'm shocked. I'm shocked that they would even have the stones to say something like that. And that came out of his mouth. Like, does he not realize, like, we all saw him after all this time finally get his shot, and after 2 hard rounds, he packed his bags? Fuck, check clear, we're gone. You know what I mean? Like, that was crazy. For him now to say, yeah, no, I just wasn't taking it serious enough. I should have stayed at 160, and I shouldn't have ducked all those guys that I ducked at 160. It's just like this dude's track action, you know what I mean? His track record, and then to put on the performance he put on, and then to come back and just say shit like that. It's just like telling people, fucking, you're stupid. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah,
I
he's
mean,
still trying to play the fans.
well, it must have been embarrassing for him too to get stopped the way he did. I mean, it was 3.5 good rounds and then a 2-round beating. And that's when he said, you know what? I'm calling it quits. After 10 years of saying that he was the boogeyman, that he was pound for pound, but he just needed to be given a shot. Well, here was a shot. And he performed worse than Caleb Plant and Durrell and Porky Medina and just a slew of other guys. You know, fucking what's his name again? The Eastern European guy, Romanian guy, Gavril. So I'm not surprised now, or maybe now they want to cash out and say, oh yeah, and I will fight Janibek, and I tell you what, Janibek, I'm not sold on the guy. I'm certainly not saying he's the next Golovkin, as the ESPN commentators try to say. But I think he beats Andrade, whose skills we've said before the Andrade fight, excuse me, before the Benavides fight, were good and possibly good enough to last the distance against Benavides. But now I see not only are his skills not as good as people were saying, he lacks that dog. He really does. So I think that lack of dog will prevent him from taking too much chances against Janibek, and it's going to cause him to just get outboxed. Maybe even stop, man. I don't know. Maybe Janibek walks him down. So this whole thing about going back down to 160, it's just a rebranding. That's all they're doing. They're just trying to rebrand, make people forget about what happened at 168. And as long as it's not on pay-per-view, maybe I'll watch it, but I certainly won't be excited, especially after what he did in his last fight, or what he didn't do. Now, the other thing I wanted to talk about here, and by the way, the phone lines are open. Excuse me, I forgot to tell you guys. The phone lines are open, so make sure to call in. The number's in the left-hand middle portion of your screen, and I'm going to be putting it up here on the big screen. There you go. Look at that. Make sure to call in. Give us your thoughts on everything that's been going on. Prediction for Sonny Edwards versus Bam Rodriguez, and some of the other adjacent subjects we are addressing here. Now, Devin Haney just had a big win over Regis Prograis this past Saturday, and a lot of his fans are on fire, thinking that they're not trying to say that this guy is the number one pound-for-pound fighter or thereabouts. And Haney's father, Bill Haney, is talking a lot, and now he's going after Mayweather. People just can't stop talking about Floyd Mayweather, even though he's been retired for close to 10 years. Here's what Bill Haney had to say about Floyd Mayweather. He said, what Floyd didn't do at 25, Devin did do. This is the Devin Haney era. Guess what? Floyd, you can keep talking about money shit if you want to. Yeah, there's somebody coming for the Mount Rushmore of boxing, and his name is Devin Haney. Haney, 2-time division world champion, undisputed world champion, checking a bunch of money. Oh, they always got to talk about the money. And guess what? We ain't had no problems with contracts, no dispute, no broadcasters. No. Well, there were problems with the contracts because it took him a long time to sign the contract against Prograis and against Lomachenko. And he was stretching negotiations out with Kambosos. So I guess they selectively forgot to mention that part. He says this is the Haney era. Don't ever mention Floyd Mayweather to me again. Now, as most of you know, we were never fans of Mayweather's character. But when it comes to the boxing, it's undeniable. The Mayweather was and is one of the all-time greats. And yeah, is there an asterisk with the Diego Corrales fight? Now that James Prince, Mayweather's advisor, he was on the Joe Rogan podcast about 2-3 years ago. He said that, yeah, they wanted that fight at 135, and we said, no, let's make it at 130 because we knew that he was having trouble making weight. So there's a bit of an asterisk. But even if you take away the Corrales fight, he did beat Castillo in the rematch. He beat Angel Manfredi before that. Jesus Chavez, Carlos Hernandez, those were some tough guys. I mean, let's go to the premium wins. Pacquiao, De La Hoya, Hatton, Cotto, Canelo. I mean, there's an asterisk there, but he beat him. So Haney, what is his resume? He beat Prograis. Okay, Prograis had one good, he had that solid win over Cepeda, but was he really a pound for pounder? Was he the man in his division? No, but it was a good win. Cambosos was the man at 135, okay. Linares, okay, an older guy who'd been knocked out before. His son couldn't even knock him. In fact, he almost got knocked out himself. Who else? Lomachenko. That on resume, that's probably the best name he's got on there. And that's a contentious win as well. So, when Mayweather had that close win, he ran it back against Castillo and proved that he could improve. Haney, after that tough fight against Lomachenko, which he should have lost, he said, I'm out of here. Like most Lomachenko opponents, nobody really wants to give him a rematch after they're in there with him. They don't want to spend any more time than they have to in that ring with him. So, for Gonzalo, what do you think? Is this just Bill Haney yapping it up again?
I mean, he's a good promoter. He's a good manager. I mean, a bunch of these dudes are like, they say they're not the most honest. They're characterized as shitbags. Like, I mean, Don King. They got a lot of stuff to say about Oscar De La Hoya. But with Bill Haney, I mean, he's got his own promotional company, Devin Haney Promotions, and basically, he named his son the Dream. So that wasn't Devin's dream. That was the father's. So he had this vision. So he's an intelligent, shrewd man when it comes to like saying the wrong things at the right time to stir people's to ruffle people's feathers. So now we know that this is a Bill Haney's style, and he likes to get under people's skin, and he likes to pose these questions that become somewhat intriguing and kind of make you think: is he right or is he wrong? So he sows that seed of doubt, and you could call it it's kind of a good thing because it's part of boxing, Is he 100% right? Well, maybe not, but it's part of their stick.
There you go, man. Yeah, I mean, he's like a old school wrestling manager of sorts, talking a lot and trying to stir the pot. And hey, maybe that gets more attention to Devin Haney. Apparently, they had a good crowd over there in San Francisco, but somebody asked me I was on Black and Browns yesterday, and somebody asked me the question. It's like, hey, is Haney the next biggest name in the lightweight division? I think the answer is yes, but again, that comes with a little context there. He's far away from being he's a far away number two, if that makes any sense. In other words, there's a lot of space between number one and number two. He doesn't come close to having the cachet that Tank Davis does, which is saying something because Tank Davis isn't even mainstream or as mainstream as some people would like to make him out to be. So if he wants to be that type of fighter, he's going to have to continue to play up the angle that he's this boxing wizard that's untouchable. Mayweather was able to do it, but I don't see Haney just quite yet being able to do it. So we'll see what happens. By the way, fellas, the phone lines are open. So make sure to call in, give us your thoughts on everything that's been going on, everything we're talking about, and of course, give us your predictions for Bam Rodriguez versus Sonny Edwards. So that's what Bill Haney had to say. Now, Gonzalo, you probably heard what was going on. Maybe we're a little bit late to the party because this took place 2 days ago, I believe. Clarissa Shields, I believe, considered the best female fighter out there. And I say believe because I don't pay really too much attention, so I don't know. But the point is, she's one of the best. And for a long time now, she's been saying that she could beat up men in boxing. Well, lo and behold, after saying that she could beat Golovkin, then she sort of dialed it down and she said, well, Thurman, I can beat Thurman for sure. They went back and forth a little bit earlier this year. Well, somebody posted on Twitter a clip of her getting clipped. And suffice to say, she reacted quite badly to it. But let's look at the clip first. And I don't even know if we should play, though, because she said that anyone that plays this clip is going to get sued. So we got to watch out right here, man. So let's play that clip here, and then we'll talk about what occurred.
Yes. Oh. 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 Oh.
I like that person who's recording. Oh, like the Italian. Oh. But there you see, she got clipped, and now she's melting. She's having a virtual meltdown on Twitter. She's saying she doesn't care, but she keeps addressing it, and she keeps saying that this doesn't decrease her worth in any way, and that people who keep bringing these up are trolls. But then she also started creating strawman arguments, saying, I never got knocked out. I just got dropped. But it's like, okay, nobody's saying you got your ass knocked out. They're just laughing at you, as trolls will do, saying that you got
Oh, what are you doing?
There you go. See, that's the O that I'm talking about.
Oh!
But but now she's complaining about how, the defamation time now because we're playing the clip, blah, blah, blah. It's like I'm thinking, man, Clarissa Shields, you just know what type of person somebody is. And then when something like this happens, you're unsurprised at her outburst. Guys, what did you make of this whole saga?
Well, did you hear what the follow-up is? That there was no padding in his glove. He took the padding out. No, hand to God.
That's why I'm laughing.
Without what evidence? Like, what you're saying that, but just because you're saying it, I want to hear from the other person. Listen, this is 5 years old. How I've been hearing it is out of respect for her, even almost like whoever had it was like, all right, I'm not going to send it out to troll her and shit. But her constant hopping, first to Gennady, I could I could beat Gennady Golovkin. Like, oh, okay, man, you're just trying to get the hype. And it was always contradictive, weird shit, going after Ebony Bridges for selling sex instead, you know what I mean? But there she is posing naked. This picture's of her fucking bare ass. You know what I mean? So just because she hates Jake Paul, but behind the scenes she's begging to get on his fucking pay-per-view. It's just constant, and then she's nasty. She's just a nasty individual, man. I don't give a fuck. I don't care who likes it. That pisses people off. She's a nasty, nasty chick. You see it when she takes pictures with people. She's pissed because she's not, no matter what she does, she's never going to be talked about like the men are talked about. And she just fucking can't have it. It's the girl boss mixed in with an athlete, and it's ugly.
That's a great breakdown right there, man, of her character and lack of character, because she's always been that way. The way she talks about her opponents, just the whole thing about the men thing. First of all, we've been through that with Ronda Rousey when she was the UFC champ, and people started making. Now, again, partially some of that was to build her profile up and create, like Gonzalo said, create some talking points and some discussion, controversy. But this one, you could tell she believed it. And by the way, in this clip here, the backstory from the guy's trainer is that, I don't know if he said that though, but apparently she was talking a lot of shit. So this guy just decided to calm her down a little bit. Also, the whole thing about the gloves, that she says, she said that in the context of the clip. I got to tell you guys, he took off the padding. So it sounds like if she's saying that the sole reason why she was knocked down was because of the padding. That's how it sounds like to me. I don't know. I'd like to hear her clarify, but she was just rambling, so we don't know. But I'll say this. If indeed that's what she's saying, and she's claiming that, I only got dropped because he took the padding off, it doesn't matter if the guy would have had 8-ounce gloves on, 10-ounce gloves, 18-ounce gloves. He hit her right there, right on the button. She's going down either way. So, sorry, Clarissa Shields, you got your ass dropped because you were sparring a guy, a man. Yeah, he's not a world-class boxer, not even a top 30 would appear in any one division, but it's a man. Men's strength, joints.
Yeah, he's a fucking nobody. He just got 6 pro fights and he left.
Something like that. Yeah.
He's a scrub. The point is, a scrub puts you on your big ass. What the fuck do you think Keith Thurman would do to you? he'd take your fucking head off, and we keep calling him out. It was one time it was cute. The second time it was fucking, wow, you're a fucking pushy bitch. Now the third time she keeps bringing his name up. Like, are you seriously trying to make a Keith Thurman fight? Like, if that fucking scrub just flattened you like that, what do you think Thurman's hook would do to you? And how fast it would be, even though he's a retired fighter?
Like I told you guys on Ever Sober Stream, if Golovkin would hit her with that over-the-top shot that lands on top of the forehead, that the force and that impact would go all the way down her spinal column, and it would break her ass, literally split that big ass apart. He would break her asshole bone apart. That's what he would do. He would shatter that asshole bone. And so for her to keep saying this, I mean, and this happened, like you said, 5 years ago. The fact that she continued to say that she could beat up men, even after this happened, just shows you how deluded she is. And how far up her own big ass she is. She really is a piece of work, let me tell you. And I hate to say it, but this just becomes exacerbated. Like trolls on Twitter, they smell who they can jump on. And she did the worst thing she could have done, which is to keep talking about it. So then the people on Twitter said, oh, this gets to her, let's keep poking. And that's where she is now. She's in a vicious circle of her own doing. And I got to tell you, man, hopefully this brings her down to reality, but I doubt it. She's the type of person that's just going to double down and keep thinking that she can beat up men. Now we'll finally maybe see her against a guy. This will probably push her to say, you know what, I want to fight a guy in an exhibition match or something. And his manager or whatever going to be like, oh, finally we can get something that's actually going to get
Mario Barrios.
I mean, Mario Barrios would straight down with that straight right down her ass. I mean,
of course he would. I know exactly. Triple G would have literally broke her neck. I wouldn't have doubted if he broke her neck. I mean, obviously, I've seen doctors. I mean, these guys who had their necks snapped in boxing match, men. So he would, yeah, probably. He would one of the things. The first thing he'd do would be slapping a fucking neck brace on her.
There you go, man.
I'm telling you, she just in. To what drive that point home, and then she's got that burner account, like 4 or 5 people, separate people. I've heard say it, and really no connection. Yeah, it's that Jackson, Paula Jackson, in that fucking man. She is as nasty as the driven snow, and it's always like whenever she gets in a fucking argument, just go to that Paula Jackson's. It's always within a minute or two. That girl starts firing off. Fucking, it's just what Shields wants to say, but won't.
Right.
And she's nasty, and it always goes right to the race.
By the way, man,
it does.
We got some people waiting.
Tells you who she is.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, man. This whole thing has been revelatory. Let's go to the phone lines here. We got some people waiting.
She said stab him too, didn't she?
Said what?
I'm sorry, BD. I'm having a hard time hearing you again. I'm gonna have to hang up again.
Are you listening to your TV or are you listening through the Discord?
No, oh God, no, man. I'm not. Okay, what do you think? I'm fucking.
No, I'm just asking.
Slow? No, dude. The TV's on mute. It's not like. Okay. No, I know. Yeah, no, it's my phone for sure, dude. I've actually walked out of the house to keep, and I still lost the reception.
Well, let me get to the phone lines here. Let's go to 510. Yep. 510. You're on the air. 510. What's on your mind?
Yeah, B-Day, on my end, too, you guys sound a bit staticky, so I don't know what that is. Like, you're kind of cutting out a bit, even Jimmy. I was going to say this. What's up? It's Mr. Booty Juice.
Oh.
What's up, Jimmy? What's up, BDA?
What's up, man?
Shout out to Recognize.
What up, bro?
For Boxing Chief. What's up, man? I just want to say this. Clarissa Shields, she's a stupid cunt bitch. She should shut the fuck up. I don't care about her career. She's irrelevant. Anyways, I was going to say, this fight coming up, man, I'm excited for it, too. Like, I know a lot of people, for whatever reason, I noticed a lot of people say that, why do I call in? I hate a lot of the fighters. I hate boxing. But it's not that I hate boxing itself. It's just that there's atrocious talent out there right now. So I don't know why the fuck people think that I'm, like, sort of a weirdo calling in, but anyways, like, I'm excited for this fight. I like Ben Rodriguez. I think he's an underrated talent.
Mr. Booty Juice, I'm curious, who says that about you? Are you talking about people in the chat?
Yeah, people in the chat, yeah, mainly.
Okay.
Like, all throughout it's spread out here and there. I don't know why, but I'm like, well, look, because I think, this is what I don't get. Like, when you guys say something that, like, okay, you shit on a certain fighter, It's cool when y'all do it, but when I say it, it's like, oh, you hate boxing, blah blah blah. I don't know what it is, man. It is what it is, but Bam Rodriguez is one of those guys that I think he's underrated. He's in my top 10. I actually have him in my top 10 pound for pound. I think he's a sensational talent. I'm for sure looking forward to this fight. I think it's going to be 11-round KO. I mean, Sonny Edwards is solid. He's good. I haven't really watched him too much. I think he's some of the better talents out of the UK. But I for sure I'm rooting for Bam. Let's fucking go Bam. Hopefully he knocks this motherfucker out. But yeah, I'm for sure going to enjoy this fight. It's a great fight.
Which round did you say?
And you touched upon all the things that I wanted to say earlier, so there's not much to say about Bam Rodriguez.
Mr. Booty Juice, what round did you say?
What was that?
You said between round this and that. I missed the rounds.
10 or 11. I think it'll be a technical knockout.
All right, I got you down right there. So, hey, by the way, essentially what you're telling me is that you feel like you're the Clarissa Shields of the YouTube boxing community, that people are jumping on you for no reason.
No. No, I don't think of that. First of all, I'm not even a part of this scene. But secondly, and more importantly, no, I don't think I'm that low of. I think I have some value, but some people might not feel that way. But you know why they feel that way? Because they like sucking on Canelo's dick. I mean,
wait a minute, the language,
that's not my fault. It's not my problem.
I'm gonna have to start bleeping here. All right. Well, listen, I got you.
I mean, as I mentioned before, like certain people like watching that garbage shit. Fine, be my guest. But as anyways, pound for pound, I wish we could talk about him more. There's a lot to say about him. That's also another guy that his skills are. I'm always like, it's. I want to say this beforehand because I tried to say this beforehand, and one of the I always forget to say this, but I got cut off before because I was going to say about this boxing era, because I was going to make a statement. I think in a way is like, pound for pound generational talent. I think he's the greatest Japanese fighter that's ever lived. And the only saving grace about this era, because I call this the Saul Canelo dog shit, piece of shit, garbage, motherfucker era. Like, this is the worst era for boxing right now. I think everybody, whether you like it or not, could agree on that. But the only saving grace about this era is Naoya Inoue, Gennady Golovkin, Bivol, Beterbiev. Those are the only guys that keep me. Because honestly, if it wasn't for them, I could just give two shits about the sport, really. Because at this point, I mean, we see the cloud chasing, we see the people getting smacked around outside of boxing. Who gives a fuck, man? Show up to fight. We want to see the fights. We're tired of seeing fucking garbage motherfuckers get recognition for not doing jack shit, get paid a lot of money for what? They're not doing shit all. They're not doing fuck all. But like I said, the only saving grace about this era is people like Naoya Inoue. And people like Bam Rodriguez, people like Bivol. That's it. That's all I wanted to say. I'll leave you guys with that. But like, yeah, I'm for sure looking. I'm hyped for this fight, man. I'm looking forward to this fight. It's a great fight.
Fantastic. Well, listen, thank you for your call, Mr. Booty Juice. Call back as always, all right, man? Take it easy out there.
Yeah, fuck Canelo. All right.
Jesus. You had to make it about Canelo somehow. Don't forget to hit that like, fellas. Hit that like, hit that like, hit that like. It really helps us out. And it keeps the show going, that's for sure. Let's go back to the phone lines here. Let's go to 205. 205, you're on the air. 205, what's on your mind?
What's up, BDA? What's happening, family?
Oh, Uncle Charles, what's up, man?
Man, I can't call the man rain, sleet, or snow, but I got to get out there and when it's over. Let me just say this, man. Prograis been talking shit for the last 6 months. And what happened to him? He got his ass whipped. You know why he got his ass whooped? Because you asked for the ass whooping. You've been asking for 6 months to a year. I ain't never seen nobody ask for an ass whooping and then actually get their ass whooped. I've never seen that. But it happens Saturday. See? Be careful what you wish for because you just might get it. Let me just say this. A lot of these boxers have their dads training them everything. I think at a certain point, you don't need to let your daddy train you. You need to move forward and grow with another trainer. You got to look at Mayweather. His daddy trained him, made him good, but Roger made him great. And he had the best of both worlds. Shane Mosley's dad was the same way. I thought at a certain point, when he got his ass whooped by Vernon Forrest, God rest his soul, he should have changed trainers, but, the loyalty for his dad. I understand that part, but sometimes we have to let our children move forward and let them do things on their own. You know, let me just be honest with you. I'm going to tell you the truth. I never told nobody this, but my daddy whooped my ass so many times, I thought it was his job. I really did. And you know what he taught me? He didn't teach me how to fight. He taught me how to duck. That's what he taught me how to damn do. You see, I like that. I should be in the Ducking Hall of Fame. I should be in the Ducking Hall of Fame. This is why I say a lot of these fathers are living through their sons, living a dream, living through their son, because some they didn't do back when they supposed to. Let me explain something to you. You're going to raise your children the way they should go and they won't depart. Once they're out there doing their own thing, it's all right to give them a few little nuggets here and there, but you're on your own, goddammit. You're on your own. You get locked up, I ain't coming to get you. Your ass better learn karate, because I'm going to tell you right there. I'm going to tell you right now, when you get locked up in prison, they don't want just food. I'm letting you know that right now. This is not a game, man. This is not a game. Prograis been talking all that shit for 6 months, and he got his ass stolen. Do anybody know what Prograis is right now? Do anybody know? Have you seen him? No, you ain't seen him. Why? Because he got his ass whooped. This is why I say, you beg for ass whooping, you'll get one. And I'm going to say this in closing. We done got 2 people killed out here just recently from dog attacks. What the hell is going on out here? Well, people who lock their damn dog up in the yard, why don't you put them on a damn rope or chain or something? But the dogs don't figure it out. Damn this thing around my neck, I'm going to eat me some ass. And that's what they've been doing. Now I want to say this to the public. Lock your damn dogs up. They're out here goddamn eating people. That's all right. I got to say, man. Appreciate you.
You're right. Hey, Uncle Charles, right on the money, man. People keep talking about, I like zombie movies because I like the concept of this beast going around. We don't need zombies in real life. We got fucking dogs running around unleashed. Absolutely right on the money right there, Uncle Charles. Thank you for your call, man. Always appreciate it.
Yes, sir.
All right, man. Take it easy out there. Thank you for your call.
Good call.
Yeah, man. Dogs on the leash. At least not from Mexico.
I have no respect for people who do that shit. No tolerance for that bullshit.
Yeah, in Mexico, there's unleashed dogs. They run in packs over there, and it's quite dangerous. And you don't want to get into that type of stuff. You want to run into them. Very dangerous.
Yeah, but in regards to Prograis, that's what he needed to do. They needed to let that dog off the leash, the cage. Remember, what's that dude? Chris Algieri versus Pacquiao, the coach. Getting ready to let him out the cage any minute now.
And then as soon as he says that, Pacquiao drops him, and you're thinking, oh boy, it just things went from bad to worse with that one. Let's go to the
no aggression from Regis. Yeah.
No, man, he didn't have the technique to get it done either. All right, let's go to the phone call here. Let's go to 410. 410, you're on the air. 410, what's on your mind?
Yeah, what's happening, guys?
Oh, Jerry, what's up, man?
Caller, I think the caller 2 calls ago. Boxing fans are funny. Seem to be ripping on Canelo a whole lot. I mean, last I checked, Canelo, 60-plus fights. I think he's 5 Hall of Famers he's fought. Fought Mayweather when he was 23 years old. They give Devin Haney all this credit for going up to Australia to fight Cambosis, a guy who really wasn't never a top 5 lightweight, let's be honest. He may not even have been top 10 Cambosis. And I like George. He's a tough little dude. But, he's 23 years old. Canelo fought Mayweather, the best fighter, probably arguably for the last 4 decades, when he was 23. And as far as the money Canelo makes, well, if you know boxing, boxing's a popularity contest. So if you're popular, you're the guy that's going to make money. Really want to get on somebody, get on Tank Davis. Tank Davis is a guy who's literally fought hand-picked opponents his entire career. The one fight I'll give him credit for is Leo Santa Cruz, because Leo was a quality fighter. Not a lot of power, but, to me, that's his best opponent. And he was getting outboxed easily in that fight until he landed that thunderbolt uppercut. I like Tank. I'm from Baltimore. He's had 5 pay-per-views. I bought them all, even though I only fought maybe 2 of those fights. Pardon?
I said, whoa.
Whoa, what?
I said, whoa, you bought all his pay-per-views.
Yeah, I bought them. I mean, I'm a boxing fan for a long time now, And it's unfortunate for us fans that if we want to see a quality fighter, even a quality fighter, or we have to pay for it, and it sucks, but it is what it is. And yeah, I've supported him, man. I bought those pay-per-views, even though the only fights I thought out of those 5 that would be a little competitive is the Santa Cruz fight and the Ryan Garcia fight. I didn't pick or think Ryan would win, but I thought they'd be competitive. But Tank is hearing it from all circles now. Even his own fan base is just tired of it. So hopefully that culminates to this guy making some fights at 135 and 140. Because there's just so much talent down there that he can no longer keep avoiding that talent. And if he does, hopefully the fans put their money, or don't put their money, so to speak, where their mouth is, and just not support him any longer. I really don't like to call for that for fighters, but enough is enough with him.
Hey, Jerry, I got to ask you something. I got to ask you something. I was listening to Ringside Reporter on Sunday, after the Haney versus Prograis fight. You called in, and what was the backstory between you and those guys? Were you guys disagreeing about the decision beforehand? Because, you went in there pretty aggressively, man. Both barrels, guns loaded.
Well, I'll tell you. Those guys, look, I don't want to sit here and badmouth them, right? But the reality is, the guy who hosts the show doesn't know about boxing. Somebody gave him a mic and a platform, and that's why he's there. He's a popular opinion guy. Whatever the popular opinion is, he'll kind of swing with that. The other guy, Dweeb, or whatever he calls him, he does know some things about boxing, but they lie, man. They tell lies, and then they just want to keep enforcing it. And I feel obligated to keep them straight. And I'll give you an example. He told me the week before. Well, we were talking about the stoppage in the fight with the fight that was the week before, where the Ryan Garcia fight. Yeah, and I told him, it's just my opinion, right? I told him I think that fight maybe shouldn't have been stopped. That the guy got up at 9, and it's a 10 count, not a 9 count. It's a 10 count. You can get up at 9, and I referenced Tyson Fury getting up at 9 when he fought Wilder in the first fight. And I got Dweeb over there screaming at me, Jerry, he got up at 5, though, Jerry. He got up at 5. Anybody can watch that knockdown and see. Tyson Fury was flat on his back at 5. He was flat on his back at 6. He started getting up between 6 and 7, and he's a big dude, so it took him to about 9 to make it to his feet, right? Well, when he made it to his feet and was erect, Reese was at 9, but he was flat on his back at 5 and 6. So, but this is just an example of
Jerry,
what they do all the
Mr.
time.
BDA made a video. You should check out Mr. BDA made a video on that. He broke it down. It's by like a stop time clock, broken down perfectly. So you should check that out. Just want to add that.
I think I may have seen that. And I've seen a few videos because people claim that Reese went over there late and this and that, and I'm like, nah, he picked up the count right around 4, which is very much average for refs one day. By the time they get the fighter over to the other corner and they pick up the time from the timekeeper, it's usually right around 4, sometimes 3, but usually 4. And I've seen that. But anybody can see the video. Fury's on his back at 5. He's on his back at 6. It's between 6 and 7 that he starts to make his way to his feet. But it's not just that. They do this kind of crap all the time. And also, and I guess I'm a glutton for punishment, because the other thing they do, and they've done this with me and a bunch of their callers, is they make adversaries of their callers. Like, I'm calling in, it wasn't always this way. We got into it initially about the 4th or 5th time I called, and I already didn't like how their style with the fabricating and stuff like that. But, once they made me an adversary, because at first it was like, oh, great call. This guy's one of our best callers. Then we had a little disagreement. And instead of just being like, okay, well, that's your opinion and this is my opinion, I got Mr. Potato Head over there yelling at me about this and that, and his partner backing him up, and they're like yelling at me. And I said, hey, you know what? Now I'm going to have to take you guys to school every chance I get. I didn't really want to do that. We kind of got a love-hate thing going on, to be honest with you.
Well, I mean, it seems that way. It seems that way, though, because I mean, when you called in, you were pretty fired up. Just for to keep it in line here, I do the same thing here. I want callers to go at it with each other. I want some of the panelists and myself to go after the callers. I mean, it's supposed to be entertainment too, man, not just talking boxing nonstop. You got to spice it up. It's 21st century here.
That's fine, but you probably wouldn't think, well, I mean, you got a show to do, and I get that, right? But I've seen how they operate. I mean, you can be entertaining with either talking something non-related. That's the one thing I will say in favor of their show is they keep it boxing. I like to talk boxing. I don't really want to call up a boxing show and talk politics and current events and things like that. I like to talk boxing. That's why I go there. So they do that, even though one of them is, in my opinion, kind of clueless about boxing. He has no real insight on boxing. Another thing he tells me all the time is that he doesn't like women's boxing. Well, that's fair. But he sits there and tells me that women they don't want to fight 3-minute rounds. And I was like, listen, first off, they don't decide that. Yes, they do. Yes, they do. I'm like, listen, buddy, go learn something. They don't decide. The commissions decide. They make the rules. Now, we just seen Serrano give up her title in protest of 2-minute rounds. I've heard these women interviewed several female boxers. They get asked, about it sometimes. And I ain't never heard one of them say, nah, we want the 2-minute rounds because we're women and, we're not as strong. And I ain't never heard one of them. But this guy is constantly campaigning that that's the case. And, I gotta say, like sometimes I'll call, they won't make an adversary out of me. We're having a reasonable discussion. But when I sense that they're doing that or they're propagating just like, again, like I say, if you don't like female boxing and you got an opinion about it, that's fine. I'll chop it up with you a little bit. And if we don't agree or we can't reach a reasonable agreement, then it's fine to just be like, okay, I don't. But when you tell me Tyson Fury got up at 5, come on, man.
I gotta tell you, man,
I know better.
I just needed to know the context in that one. I gotta tell you, I'm gonna be pretty excited the next time I listen to the show and you call in, because I mean, this is probably gonna get back to them and they're gonna go, you know what, Jerry, they're probably gonna be salivating at the thought of you calling back. It's gonna be very explosive. So I just wanted to know that, man.
I don't know, because they always cut me short. I don't know if they celebrate when I call, but people in the chat love my calls, and they're like, "Where's Jerry? Get Jerry on the line." And they do, but they talk over me. As soon as I start exposing stuff like the Fury thing, they talk over me, and then they keep doing that, and they're like, "All right, Jerry, we gotta go." You know what I mean? Which doesn't help matters really either. But a big part of it is me. I'm a glutton for punishment, but I just can't stand it when they do that. But I did want to say one more thing referring to boxing regarding the Devin Haney fight. Haney, he looked like $1 million. I personally don't like Haney. I think he's a liar, a hypocrite, and a racist. Yeah, because I've heard him make some very racist remarks, not once on that podcast, but he made the same remark while driving in his car. I'll never lose to a white boy. One day he may eat those words, but for now, his performance was a brilliant performance. I don't see it going that easy against a Lopez or Matias or even an Antoine Russell, but against Regis, let's face it, I've never personally thought Regis was as good as what the hype was. Hype, if you want to call it. I don't know. To me, he fought a low level of competition, just like Andrade. And he did fight Charles Taylor, but he lost that fight, right? He looked like dog crap in his last fight, and he's very slow at 140. He's flat-footed, kind of tailor-made for Haney. Give Haney credit, though, because he shut him down entirely. I just think, and I know from watching the fight prior where Haney fought a real world-class fighter with real skills, you've seen a much more competitive fight, right? That's what we've seen. This fight was a matter of Haney being as good as he is, of course, but it had a whole lot to do with Regis really not being on the level of, like, say, a Lomachenko or Lopez or any of the, or Matias, you know. So if he stays at 140, we should see some competitive fights.
Well, we shall indeed. We'll see what happens with that saga right there. All right, listen, Jerry, thank you for your call. Call back next time, all right, man? Take it easy out there.
Thank you, buddy. Yep.
All right. Well, that was a whole lot of YouTube saga stuff right there as well. I didn't know. I always thought, you know, I don't always get a chance to listen to all these podcasts around. Like Ringside Reporter, I'll try to catch it after it airs. I mean, I'll try to catch it live, but oftentimes just I catch snippets when it airs. But I didn't know they had that type of... See, that's the problem when you got a callers, man. You can't, you know, sometimes there will be a disagreement, and then sometimes you got to rush them too. You got to go, hey, listen, we got to move on if we got too many callers. And sometimes, I don't know, I don't know if that's what he said happened. Maybe he took it personally and it wasn't their intent to wrap it up with a phone call. But I mean, hey, just telling people it ain't easy hosting a show, man.
I was going to bust his balls and say you kind of threw a dig at us by saying, well, they keep it a box and then go on a 10-minute diatribe about your feelings.
Oh, come on, Jimmy. You were going to try to get
I'm just busting balls. I'm totally busting balls. I like Jerry. But you know what I'm saying? Like, it was just funny because that's what he said. And
listen,
but here's the point now. Did you also, real quick, did you hear about Haney's father? Were you going to talk about that later?
About the Matias
what just happened with him? Oh, the lion getting caught in lies again?
Right.
Like well, he did with Shakur. I'm not a Shakur fan, but yeah.
I'll let you break it down, but hold on. Somebody's calling in here. 510, you're in the air. 510. What's on your mind?
What's up, Jimmy? What's up, BDA? Real quick, I wanted to rebuttal Jerry, a.k.a. NPR's daddy. Look, I have respect for the guy. I feel like even when he calls in, even though I don't agree with him, I think he brings a lot of depth to the boxing conversation, in whatever topic. So I appreciate his calls. But let me say this: I don't think the little dig about Canelo. Look, I don't think you can justify his last 3-4 fights that the guy's had. I mean, that's all I'm saying. Other fighters immediately get shit on. Well, this guy gets a pass for that. I think it's disrespectful. It's a disgrace. You're not going to sit here and tell me that you love the Charlo fight. You're not going to sit here and tell me that you're going to love when he beats the shit out of his brother or Benavidez. Those aren't that much of exciting fights, really. I mean, some people want to watch it, I understand, but yeah, I think that's kind of disingenuous to say, at least when it comes to the boxing conversation. That's all I wanted to say. I mean, I have my reservations. As I mentioned before, when I try to make my points, people disregard them. So it is what it is. You know, you people... That's why I kind of dig on you people, the Canelitas, because I know if I could say if I say something positive, I'm a fruitcake. If I say something negative, I'm a fruitcake. So it is what it is. But I just want to say that.
Okay,
you know, shout out to Jerry. So.
Shout out to you. All right, there you go. Yeah, because he did bring you up right there. No, I'm just saying because he did bring you up in his last call. All right. Well, shout out to you, Mr.
Yeah, he brought me up. I mean, I get it. I understand. You know, people dislike what I say, but I think there is an argument there, but you people decide to ignore it. So I don't know what you want. What the fuck do you want from me? If I make my points and then I say, if I say something like Canelo will never sell out the Aztec Stadium, because I'm calling that right now. I actually want to say that right now. Actually, Canelo will never, for as much as a quote unquote face of boxing that he is, right? But this is what pisses me off, dude. Like, Julio Cesar Chavez. That's
Can you
the fucking
speak up
guy.
for me, sweetie?
He's the greatest of all time. But that motherfucker, when he went to Mexico, he actually went to the Aztec Stadium and sold it out. Think about this for a second. Who the fuck is the real in the face of boxing?
I gotta tell you,
he sold out 131,000 fucking stadium, and you're gonna sit here and tell me that this guy is loved, that this guy's a face of boxing, that this guy's talented? Not even fucking close, Jack. It's not even. It's not. They're not even the same fucking round. That's all I wanted to say about that. Put me on that right now. Put that on the BDA. Put that on the BDA boxing records. He will never sell out the Aztec Stadium. Put that right now. Put that layman's fucking name again. Mr. Booty, you said that Canelo will never sell out the Aztec Stadium. You know why? Because he's not that great. He's not that good. You people fucking want to swallow the Kool-Aid. That's on you. What the fuck do you want me to do about it? Sorry, that's it. That's all I want. I don't want to make this about me. You know, so I'm gonna go ahead and leave.
No, of course you don't. All right, shout out to Mr. Booty Juice. He said, put it on the record because Bucho, I don't have the graphics here, but Bucho has he's got the BDA records where people make predictions, often outlandish ones, and we write them down for posterity. And so there we go. And now we got one. We got Mr. Booty Juice says, Canelo will never sell out Azteca Stadium. And he said, Jack. I like how he was going in there like a 1970s thing. What's up, Jack? What's up, cool cat? Jive turkey? I like that. Going old school. Well, I got to tell you, man, yeah, it ain't easy, man. Like, he kept saying you people too. I think he was trying to reference us as well. So just goes to show you, Jerry gets into it with people from the Ringside Reporter. They have a contentious relationship, and we have a contentious relationship here with our callers as well, man. Everyone, plenty of drama to go around, and we love it. All right, hold on a second, real quick. Just people in the chat are saying he probably won't know. King KO says Booty Loose has wet dreams about Canelo. Very weird. Boxing Sage just sounds to me like he convenient David Benavidez fanboy and a clear Canelo hater. I mean, so there you go, man. Just people going at it with Mr. Booty Juice. But okay, let's go back to that before we end the show here. We're almost done. But yeah, Jimmy, what's going on? Bill Haney, not only did he say he contacted not Quadras, what's his name again? Matias's representatives. But now you're saying something about Shakur Stevenson?
Yes.
What?
Well, no, to me, look at, I'm not a Shakur fan, first off, as like a lot of different reasons, but I am a fan of his talent. I think he's a talented kid, but we know where I stand with him anyways. I always said, though, from the beginning, like, I know when people jump on him, well, he ducked Haney because he ducked that offer. And I would just say, factually, what Bob says, it was a bullshit offer because at the time, Bob was his representation still. And there was no money behind it. Bob, came out and said it. And again, if you did the math, remember, he was getting, the split was 75-25 or 80-20, whatever. It was something ridiculous, 70-30. So he was getting a third, and they was offering him supposedly $7 million. Just, I mean, if they came up with a fucking reasonable number, said, it was 1.7 million, but 7 million. So that means somebody was willing to put up $33 million for that fight, for them two to fight, which is just beyond laughable. Just, it is what it is. Anyways, and they, never say where the money was coming from, who was backing it. So you take that, but it got a lot of people, and again, I think he did this to when he doesn't fight him or avoids a particular fighter, it's preemptive strikes. He puts out bullshit stories, just comes up with these. And then if Shakur says, well, I wanted to fight, oh, you ducked him. He just tried to pull the same shit with Matisse. He came out on a podcast, whatever, saying how he said, yeah, let's fucking make the fight. But he said he went and talked to, I can't remember the guy's name. I believe it was Japanese sounding, the dude's name, but probably screwing up who represents who. Right? This dude doesn't even represent Matisse. Has nothing whatsoever to do with Matisse or his team. And his team called him out on that bullshit. No, he didn't talk to him. That dude doesn't represent Matisse. It's a small company. It's us. No, he broke it down. So it was bullshit. And then he tried to I guess they got him together. I didn't hear it, but on the Boxing Voice. And Bill Haney did what most people do when they're fucking caught lying. They raise their voice. They're embarrassed. A grown-ass man, you're making up fairy tales. So, of course, instantly snaps, raises his voice, and then hangs up, whatever. But then he was, at the end, they're like, well, all right, then get off the phone. These are the people you need to call. But the point being, he just made up. So it wasn't just oh, yeah, we contacted him. He laid down a story. And this is what he did about Lomachenko not fighting and, Ukraine. And we wanted to fight him. And we showed you and I just... that's a physical impossibility. So now that's the third fighter that we know of. That what he does is a pattern. So he's going to go through, and I personally think Prograis by far was an easy target for him because of the styles, right? Just because of Prograis' feet. Now he wants to go right to 147, but who's he calling out? Calling out fucking a retired fighter in Thurman or Barrios, who's only known for being knocked out by fucking Davis and going the distance with Thurman. You know what I mean? But he's not saying, yeah, I'm going to hang out and fight fucking Theo or even Matisse, right? Why doesn't he fight him? Because that kid Matisse, I'm telling you, is all wrong for him. Because he's a pressure fighter, comes swinging. And I think they know that. They know that. And I believe Matisse would put his fucking lights out. And that's why he put out that bullshit story. So everybody would instantly start to say, oh, well, you already ducked him. and they wouldn't blame him for fucking. Hey, we tried. So, anyways, I just. You know what I mean?
Sneaky,
that kind of shit
man.
really pisses me off, dude.
Yeah, very
trying
sneaky.
to cite narratives so you turn fans, you make them, a fucking agent of your lies. It just sucks. But
well,
anyways.
there was a clip somebody put on Twitter of him dining with a bunch of YouTubers. So it's clear that even if he doesn't pay them, as some people claim he does, to run interference and all that, at the very least, these guys are biased with him, or they would tend. I would assume them to be, just the way they have a relationship with the guy and they have a landline to the guy, they have his phone number. So that's why it's always better to just maybe avoid getting involved too close with some of these people, because then you're afraid of bad-mouthing them and then you lose access, blah, blah, blah. But yeah, that's very sneaky from Bill Haney. And he kind of fucked up because it would have been very easy to refute as the Matias's representatives did. And also, what's the point of, we're going to challenge him when you've already heard that apparently Teofimo Lopez a week ago challenged Matias, and they actually did it to the proper channels. They didn't just call him out on Twitter and, see, we're calling him out. No, they actually tried to send him an offer, apparently, and Matias is sidelined because of an injury. So why the fuck are these people trying to sort of get a fight with the guy if you know he's going to be sidelined? So it's just, I don't know, it's just more propaganda from that side. By the way, we got a phone call here. Yep. Let's go to 832. 832, you're on the air. 832, what's on your mind?
What's up, BDA? This is the Straight G2 row. I just want to give my prediction on the fight, right? I think that Bam Rodriguez is gonna win by a UD. I think he might hurt Sonny Edwards. It might look like a Teofimo Josh Taylor. I'm telling you, BDA. I mean, Sonny Edwards has the style to beat Bam, but he just don't. He's just not physical enough to beat Bam, bro. Like what I've been saying. Like a lot of UK fighters, they don't. Like they can't really. I've never really seen it unless you're talking about Josh Taylor, which he was an exceptional talent at one point. But I do believe Bam is gonna knock. Pretty much beat Sonny Edwards. Pretty easily. What do you think?
Well, first of all, I mean, you mentioned the UK thing. You have this predilection to say that these people from the UK are all bums. Why do you call them decafs? I don't even know what that means, by the way.
I don't know. I just know that that stands for dumb, idiotic, casual, ass fans. So that's why I like using the term, because I think it suits a lot of people in the boxing world.
But there's no doubt about that. I said there's no doubt about that. But the point is,
yeah, no doubt. And Matias, I think Matias beats Prograis. Dude, Matias is so good. I think Matias is good enough. He could go up to and fight Canelo and beat him. I think he's that good. He could beat.
I zoned out. Straight G, I zoned out for 2 seconds. Did you say Matias could go up to beat Canelo?
Yeah, I think so. Maybe not maybe at 160 or something, but I don't know, or at a catch weight. Dude, Matias is a pressure machine. Canelo, the best people who have given Canelo problems are pressure machines. No. But that's neither here nor there. I think. No, absolutely. I'm telling you, Matias is going to become undisputed at 140. He's going to beat every single name there is. He's going to go to 147. And division by division, nobody's up until unless he gets old, which it does happen.
Straight G.
Crawford is 36, and
I'm trying to listen to what you're saying here, but you're putting me on. Is what you're doing.
What do you mean by that?
Matias could beat Canelo, is what you're telling me.
Dude, I'm telling you, from anyone.
You're gargling his balls, man.
From 140 to 140, 140 to I'll say probably like a good 160. He could do his thing. Yes. Well, hypothetically, if Canelo was still at 160, I'm just using him as an example, right? Or I could say Janabek. Matias could go up and beat someone like Janabek, someone like Tim Tszyu. I'm telling you what. Straight
G. I'm not trying to. You're talking about decaffeine. Yeah. You're talking about decaffeine. Get yourself some caffeine right now, man. Sober up. I don't know if you've been drinking, you've been hitting the ganja too much, the yeska. Well, I don't know what the fuck you're on, man.
Yeah, but Matias is a pound for pound fighter. I think the fight to make is him versus Theo Fimo. I think that's a great fight. Like I said, Sonny Edwards on that fight, he has the style to beat Bam, but first of all, he has a 60-inch reach advantage, or not a disadvantage. Bam has a 7-inch reach advantage, I think, or even 9-inch, one of the two. But yeah, and usually, I think Bam is a little more athletic too. Not to mention, and I think Sonny Edwards is gonna get tired, and things are gonna go bad for him. But he does have the style. He just can't. I don't think he's gonna be able to execute the slickness against the Bam. It is what it is.
All right, well, listen, Stray G, thank you for your call. A very bizarre call, but nonetheless quite entertaining. All right, I like it. Shout out to you there, Stray G.
Right, for sure,
call back next time, right, man? Take it easy.
Hey, and make some second renaissance.
I mean, I've been busy, man. I'll try, but it's just we've been very busy with the boxing here and all this stuff, man. All right, man. Take it easy out there. Thank you for your call.
No doubt. Peace, man. Peace. You too.
Maybe we can do a second renaissance on the type of drugs that are out there and the drugs that Stray G is smoking, man. I mean, Matias, move on. I think, I'm telling you, he's a very low-key operator. He knows how to say outlandish things and get a reaction out of people. I mean, I don't know what he was on.
Do you know how big Janabek would be over Matisse?
But yeah, exactly.
Because he said Janabek for sure. I'm like, dude, he would be like 5 inches taller than him, I think, at least.
Hey, imagine Matias moves up through the divisions and just starts wading through them like a Mongolian horde. And maybe Stray G is proven right. You never know, man. Boxing, crazier things have happened. What else was I going to say here? All right, so yeah, that whole thing about Bill Haney, again, that's unsurprising that this dude, I mean, he creates narratives and weaves them and people believe him. But this time, he fucked up worse than when he did with the Lomachenko thing. That's for sure. And that's it.
So this is the second provable lie.
Yeah.
And like you said, hanging around YouTubers, Mr. VDA, come on. Out to dinner, cracking jokes. They're my boys.
Yeah, exactly. I mean,
that's cool. Bill, we'll say whatever you want, bro. Just call me up. Tell me, man.
Exactly, man. The other thing I want to bring up here is, I know we're beating a dead horse here. I mean, this is beyond a dead horse. The horse has been decomposed already. But Deontay Wilder is going to be fighting this month over there in that mega card in Saudi Arabia. And he had this to say about Fury. He's still talking about the cheating. He says, I know what Tyson Fury did. I have proof of a lot of things. So this is what he had to say about it. He said, it isn't so much what I think Fury did. It's what I know he did. But God said victory is not yours, it's his. So I walk on that path. What I think has helped me a lot with life and what has made me happier because I have proof of a lot of things. You understand me? But that's neither here nor there. What has helped me on the journey of life is ayahuasca. Okay, so on the one sentence he says he's determined that he knows what's up. He's very grounded in reality and that he has evidence to prove that Fury is cheated against him. And then in the next one, he starts talking about taking hardcore narcotics. So, I mean, I don't know what this guy's thinking about, but I'll say this. And we've already mentioned this ad nauseum, but if I had evidence or proof, as he says, not just evidence, proof that Fury cheated against him, I'd be livid, I'd be angry, I'd have to have people have to hold me back from doing something stupid. And of course, I'd get Rafael Shapiro, who's a bulldog, in the courtroom and say, we're going to court, man. Let's go. Pack your lunchbox because we're going to work. And no, that's not what he's doing. He's saying, well, I'm okay with it, which is, I don't buy it. Especially a hothead like him.
So he could get, so just never mind the fact that he could get his belt back. If he had actual proof of any of those absurd accusations, unsubstantiated accusations, if he had actual proof, he could actually get his belt back, receive millions of dollars in just suing the shit out of everybody, including NASDAQ, because there have to be people involved there, like incredible amounts of fucking money. But he doesn't want to do it because he's on God's path.
Exactly.
Seriously.
So you're gonna let Fury, if allegedly he did that, and you know he did it, you're gonna let him do it to other people. You're not gonna stop him from doing it to. I mean, it's nonsensical. It's another Clarissa Shields situation here right now, man. But hey, boxing never ceases to entertain. What can I say? Now,
fucking terrible. Oh,
by
sorry.
the way, Eddie Hearn says he wants to sign Jaron Ennis. He says you need someone who's going to appreciate how special he is. So he started throwing, like they say, throwing shade at PBC. The fact that they don't know what to do with the guy, and they haven't gotten him a fight. I mean, think about it. They haven't gotten this dude a fight since the summer. He got off to a good start, fighting twice in the year within the first 6 months, but then the last 6 has been limbo. And then they're not going to get any fights on Amazon until March. So that's, let's see, he fought in July, I believe, or June. So that's 6 months, so 9 months he's going to be out. I mean, I don't know, man. Maybe he should go.
Yeah, this is Ennis?
Jaron Ennis, yeah.
Yeah, I thought you were still talking about, wow, yeah, he is terrible. But, no, Ennis, now listen, dude, what's going on is he's not even getting a call, anything. He's been in transition because he was Showtime's fighter through Gary Shaw. He wasn't actually a Heyman fighter, so clearly he's stepping over to the PBC side, probably, signing with Heyman, but he's now, like, not getting any calls, like not even on the radar, where when he was Showtime's only guy, I'm sure probably was getting calls, once a week. Don't worry, we got things looking this way, blah. He's not even on the radar right now. He's got too many fighters. Isn't it first date's in March? And because he just fought in July, I'm sure, like, they said, no, we can't even, right now, you're going to have to wait. So, but what can he do? If he signed that contract, he signed that contract, but it's a shame we're seeing a kid who's, I'm personally thinking his skills are, not probably. It is. You either get better or you get worse, man. You don't fight, you don't get better. You fight once a year and you fight soft-ass competition. It's what we saw against Karen.
It's amazing
he's going to get any better from that, fighting this pay?
Yeah, it's amazing to me that he actually fought more during the pandemic than he did this past 2. I mean, look at this. In the pandemic, he fought 3 times. Once pre-pandemic and then twice post-pandemic. 2021, he actually had 2 fights. 2022 was the worst one where he had about a round and a half, I think, of action. And then this year, again, like I said, he got off to a good start fighting in the beginning, right in the beginning of the year, then in July, but then nothing. All the way till next March. At the least next March, because maybe he won't even be in the inaugural card. So, man, I got to tell you, this boxing business can really be a pain in the ass, huh? Because, I mean, look,
that's when he looked the best, when he was fighting regularly.
Yeah, because, look, I think some people are overrating him, but at least he's exciting to watch. He goes for the knockout. And I want to find out what he's got. I want to find out if he really is a real deal or not. That's the fun of being a boxing fan is these guys are propped up and you go, okay, will he sink or swim? We're not even finding out right now because he hasn't been able to fight.
And power's real. The size is real. But
here's
not going to get any better fighting nobody.
But you mentioned that the fact that if you don't fight, you're not staying sharp. You're getting bland. Here's the other problem. He's 5'10", 5 feet 10 inches tall. Seems like he walks around as a light heavyweight. I'm thinking it's gonna be hard to make that weight, even at 26. You just never know, man. With the inactivity, it could. I mean, I don't know, man. I don't know. It's just there's too many obstacles right now. Too many bumps in his path. And
I think he's gonna have a hell of a time making 147. I foresee probably one more fight there for all the reasons you just said, his age, his size. He's boiling down. He's eating a lot of muscle tissue. That will affect his power, will affect his stamina. I don't know why he's fucking around down there. Well, that's where the money is. I mean, where's he going to go to 154 right now? I mean, what's there for him?
Well, that's the thing, though. Errol Spence and Terence Crawford are tied up. And Crawford even I don't know if he meant it or not, but he said, hey, I don't want to fight. I don't need to fight this guy. Virgil Ortiz moving up to 154. So who else? Stanionis. He hasn't fought in over a year. Cody Crowley apparently didn't want to fight the guy. I don't know if that's true or not again. So, yeah, the welterweight division has turned into a desert from one day to the other.
Yep. I think he was trying to chase Crawford. Well, the idea of it, but he shouldn't have turned it down before the Spence fight.
That's true. That's true. Absolutely true. Yeah, he did turn down that fight as well. So, I mean, listen, man. It's at least he's 26 years old, but still, he's not in the where he wants to be right now. That's for sure. Oh well. Listen. Anything else you guys want to say before we move on? We've been on here for close to 3 hours.
Nope, that's just about it. I'm really excited, looking forward to that fight. And again, obviously very excited about Bam Rodriguez. I think he's a very well-schooled fighter. And I think with this kid, Edwards, what he does really isn't taught. It's just kind of his own thing. Like, you can tell he's all about just quick twitch fiber muscles. He's just a tough kid who can, like, with good athleticism, fast twitch. So it's nothing, he's not going to be bringing anything that's going to, where I think, rock Bam. So that's for the reason I think Bam's going to really put on the gas.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that one.
Well-trained punches, man.
We're all looking forward to that one, man. By the way, we're 8 likes away from 100. So on your way out, hit that like. 8 people, that's all. Just 8 people hit that like, and we'll get to 100. It really helps out with the algorithm. So make sure to hit that like. You know what? I'm not asking, actually. I am not asking. And don't tell me how, but I've got contacts with for people who used to work in Project Stargate. And they have a clairvoyance. They can remote view. And they are watching you. They will start watching you if you do not hit that like. Don't make me use my mutant powers here and my mutant army. All right, fellas? That's all. I'm just warning. Just a friendly warning. All right, listen, fellas. Thanks again. Shout out to Gonzalo, Jimmy. Shout out to you, fellas. Thank you for joining us. Really appreciate it. The little breakdown that we did on Sonny Edwards versus Bam Rodriguez. Looking forward to that. That's right. That's right. What else? Yeah, shout out to everybody who donated the super chat, everybody who called in, everybody in the chat right now. Talking about the Quags. Shout out to the Quags. Shout out to Ernest Mendoza, Mars, Joker's Wild, Knockout Ned, Nightmurph, Impala, #CCD. One name that I can't say because it runs with something else. I know what you're doing. Dark Hate Do, Nes Mendoza. That's Mr. Nes Mendoza. Shout out to him. Quentin Lassiter, GG, Ken Wayne Jack. Who else? Pound for Pound King, Campos Vasquez, Mars, Daniel Hartman, Grim Reaper. Guys, thank you so much for joining us. Really appreciate it. If I forget anybody, it's because we got to go. Shout out to you fellas. Enjoy the rest of your night. Catch you in the next one.